Welcome to Pale Blue Pod, the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe but want to be its friend.
Aw, that's us. I'm friends. I am friend. I'm Corinne Caputo, I'm a writer, and I'm a funny person, and I'm a friend to the universe and a friend to my co-host.
Hi, I'm Dr. Moiya McTier. I'm an astrophysicist, a folklorist, and a friend to you. But when you said I am friend, I turned you into Groot. You're now a tree person, but your name is friend. You are friend.
Oh my god! What's cuter than baby Groot?
Literally nothing.
Oh my god.
Maybe a fresh baby kitten, but maybe.
I know. There is a video I saw of like a fresh baby, of just like a 9-month-old human baby that like can't sit up, so the parents are like, you have to practice, and she always tumbles over. It's very cute.
Oh. That just reminded me that last week I referred to someone's human baby as their flesh baby instead of a fur baby.
That is so crazy.
Too many of my friends have fur babies, and that's just what I'm used to. That's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
So we are sharing these unhinged thoughts, mostly mine, just my unhinged thoughts, on a train. Because I did a very long train ride a couple weeks ago through Pennsylvania, and I remembered that trains are really nice and peaceful. And so I thought we could come.
I love trains.
Yes.
I love a long ride where I'm not behind the wheel, and you just put on a song and you yearn out the window.
Yes.
I
Especially
love
if
that
it's
kind
raining.
of content. Yes. Wait, I have been meaning to tell you this. I was getting on my bus, which is one of my chances to just look out the window for 2 hours and yearn. And I screenshotted the QR code that they scanned to get on the bus, but I guess the guy thought it was like the full email and like tried to scroll to see a part of it.
Oh.
And instead he like ended up scrolling to the next photo in my camera roll.
Okay.
And the next photo in my camera roll was the Armageddon photo that I posted on our Instagram, which, listeners, if you haven't seen it, is the Armageddon poster. So it's Bruce Willis in the center, and then me and Moiya's heads on either side of him in like a badly photoshopped version. And this is 5:30 in the morning. The bus driver just thought he was looking at an email and then scrolls to see Armageddon with Bruce Willis, me, and Moiya.
Wow.
It was so funny to me. And he was just like so apologetic because he was like, I didn't know I was like intruding on your camera roll. Anyway,
I mean, it could have been so much worse. But
it could have been crazy.
Amazing.
It really could have been crazy. Like, I also had this like photos, like a few photos later of like a wound I had that I wasn't sure was healing well. So like he could have scrolled to like something grotesque or I don't know. But it was very funny.
Hilarious.
And I was like going to text you immediately, but it was so early in the morning. I was like, I'm saving this.
Thanks. Save it for the air.
Yeah, save it
for content. Oh, wow. Another thing we can do besides yearn and stare longingly out through a rain-soaked window is to scroll on our phones.
Scroll, yeah.
Love a scroll. So I figured on this long train ride, we can scroll through our phones and tap me on the shoulder if you see something good.
I love it. I have a few, actually.
Oh, okay, great. Let's get into it.
Okay, so I saw an article titled "Earth Has More Than One Moon."
Oh,
and
news to me.
News to me. Obviously, I clicked.
Obviously.
So, obviously, this article is clickbaiting me. It's really an article about quasi-moons or quasi-satellites that appear to be orbiting Earth, like our moon, which is famously called the moon because it's the moon.
TM.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it? Trademark. Yeah.
So we can put links to what I was reading in our research notes, but so there's this asteroid, for example, called 469219, and I don't know the language of origin for the name, but it's Kamo, KMO apostrophe OALEWA, so like Kamo Oelwa.
Oh, well, I think that might be like a Hawaiian name. We named some asteroids after. Yeah. So cool.
So apologies if I'm butchering it, but it's an asteroid that's about 50 meters wide, and it's got an orbit that's like 1.00 Earth years. So it's just like 17 hours longer than Earth's period, which is really close to ours.
Whoa.
And it's a mildly elliptical orbit, so it's about like 15 million kilometers farther from and closer to the sun than that of Earth. So And it's tipped by a little bit, by like a smidgen, like 8 degrees with respect to Earth's orbit. So from our point of view on Earth, the asteroid moves as if it's orbiting us.
Very cool.
And like an analogy to this motion is a scenario where like you're driving down the center lane of a 3-lane road, and imagine a car moves ahead of you on the left and passes you, and then gets all the way over to your right, and then slows down and drops behind you, speeds up, passes you again on the left. So it appears like the car is circling you, but someone looking from the side of the road will just see it moving left and right, faster and slower.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. Listeners, it helps if you do your hands
do
like
your hands.
the cars.
It's kind of like keeping track of like where the ball is under like hats at a baseline.
Yeah, that's really smart.
So
how long does it take to do one of those quote-unquote
that's
orbits?
a good question. I'm not sure how long it takes, but the asteroid's actually orbiting the sun. But because of that movement, it looks like it's orbiting us. But there is a cool video in the Scientific American article of like what that looks like from kind of a bird's eye view orbit. So that helped me visualize this a lot better. Wow, this is taking me to charts, which I don't understand. So I can't answer that question for you right now.
Cool.
But Earth does not have more than one moon, but we do have these, like, there are 7 known true quasi-moons of Earth.
7?
7. But there are many more asteroids that have, like, these horseshoe orbits near us. So they kind of seem like they're in the same boat, but they're kind of categorized differently. But yeah, Earth has 1 moon. You better believe it.
Yes.
Don't
you did
fall
not
for the
hear
clicks.
it here first. Yeah. We would tell you, like we just did.
We would tell you. We would. Emergency episode.
I reminds me of Zuzve, of the quasi moon around Venus that we talked about in our last social roundup episode. But I didn't know we had 7. I'm gonna have to go and look into them and figure out which one is my favorite.
Yes.
I hope there's a naming convention for them.
Oh, I hope so too. Maybe there is with the numbers, but not with the, I don't know.
I'll look into it. All right. I found something.
Yay.
I found something quite disturbing.
Okay, no.
I
Yay.
apologize in advance.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I saw this on TikTok. And it was like a stitched video, and the first one was something like, tell me something, and you can't forget your reaction to like when you learned it. Like, tell me something crazy that you know that doesn't sound like a real fact. And the fact was that the lady said that there's a layer of our atmosphere that is entirely spiders. And
No.
I was like, no, ma'am, no, there's not. And so I had to look it up, and I found some science articles, and it's not an entire layer of our atmosphere that is solidly spiders, but apparently spiders can fly.
No.
For a long time. Okay, so apparently...
My eyes are tearing up.
I know, as did mine when I read this. Trust. Spiders can use electric fields and long threads of their silk to travel hundreds of miles in the open air, even over the ocean. And there are a lot of stories of sailors finding spiders in their topsails when they are far from land.
Ew.
Yeah. We used to think that spiders were just being carried along on the wind, and that was called ballooning. But in 2018, there was an article in the journal Current Biology by Morley and Robert, and it showed that Earth's electric field is strong enough to carry these little spiders as well. And they figured this out by putting spiders, I don't know what kind, they put spiders in a windless chamber. So there was still air, but it was blocked from any sort of current that would make that air move. But it did still have an electric field around this chamber. And they observed what the spiders did. These were spiders that were known to do the ballooning, to like jump into the wind. So I have a quote from the paper. They say, tiny sensory hairs on the spider's feet called trichobothria were ruffled by the field, end quote. And they observed that even without wind, but with this magnetic or electric field, the spiders prepared to take off into the sky. So they were reacting to the field, not to the wind. There's another quote: "When spiders sense an electric field, they stick their spinnerets into the air." I love the word spinnerets.
Yes.
"And they release their silk, called tiptoeing. This means spiders are ready for takeoff." So not only are they flying along the magnetic fields and the wind, but they can, like, sense the magnetic fields to know when it's okay to fly. And this is actually how we found out that spiders, or at least some of them, like bees, have an electrical sense. We didn't know that before.
Whoa. There's so much we don't know.
There's so much. So yeah, there is not an entire layer of the atmosphere that is spiders, but spiders can apparently quite easily traverse lower levels of our atmosphere.
So I wonder if any skydivers, would they come into contact with this?
Yeah, probably. There are probably
Yuck.
skydivers who have swallowed spiders. Thanks
Ew.
for giving me that nightmare image.
Another reason never to go.
It's on my bucket list. I really want to go, but I will now, I don't want to open my mouth.
Can you even breathe when you're going down that fast? If it's a little bit windy, I can't breathe.
I don't know. I know I'm going to cry. I cry when I'm, like, walking outside and there's a little breeze.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm leaky. I cry so... My tear ducts are just always
They're
primed.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I have another one about how the polar ice is melting and changing Earth's rotation.
Oh.
Messing with time itself, kind of.
Oh.
Kind of.
So many reactions. Okay.
So, changes in Earth's rotation over the long term have been dictated by the friction of the tides on the ocean floor, which has slowed down Earth's rotation. Mm-hmm. And recently, the impacts of melting polar ice, driven by humans who are burning fossil fuels, have impacted this further, because as the ice melts into the ocean, meltwater moves from the poles towards the equator, which can slow the speed of Earth's rotation. And this article said, imagine a skater bringing her arms, like, out when she's spinning in a circle, and it can slow her down instead of bringing them in, which would speed her up.
Oh, because we're getting more mass at the equator.
Exactly. Oh. So since the late 60s, the world's been using Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC, to set time zones, and UTC relies on atomic clocks but still keeps pace with the planet's rotation. Mm-hmm. But as the rotation speed is not constant, the two time scales can diverge. And this means a leap second can be added every now and then to bring them back into alignment. Mm-hmm. But according to this new study, despite polar ice melt exerting a slowing influence, overall, the Earth's rotation is speeding up.
What?
So this means the world may soon need to subtract a second for the first time.
Why is it speeding up?
That's a really good question, Moiya.
Because I have been teaching lectures recently where I say it's slowing down. So if I'm teaching wrong things, I need to know.
That is a good question. Okay, let me see. It's speeding up because of changes in its core, is what CNN describes it as. After a long trend of slowing, the Earth's rotation is now speeding up because of changes in its core.
Well, isn't that something? Okay. Because I was under the impression that Earth's days were getting 2 milliseconds longer every century. That's what I believed. I guess
you should
not.
fact check me on this, because obviously I'm reading an article on CNN and saying that it's... Maybe this guy's a quack.
I should just pay attention more.
No. You're enough.
Thanks, Corinne.
But this is interesting because we've never taken away a second before, and it's not clear why the core speed is changing. It's, I think one of the authors, let me make sure that it's him. Yeah, Duncan Agnew, a professor of geophysics at the University of San Diego and the study's author, said that it's not exactly clear why the core speed is changing. It's fundamentally unpredictable, he says. But what is clear, according to the study, is that despite the ice melt slowing, the Earth's still speeding up, and that means the world may soon need to subtract a second, something we've never done before, fucking with time itself. It's a yikes moment for some computer applications, says a University of Colorado glaciologist. But for most people, life will carry on as usual, even if they took the second away.
Yeah, a whole second is a lot.
I know. I also think it's crazy to say life will carry on as usual, because I'm like, well, fundamentally it won't, because of why that, like... I just feel like the need for this means life is going to change and it will not be carrying on as usual.
Right, but they're like, you can still, you can time your life falling into shambles more accurately now.
Exactly. And your computers might crash.
Oh, well, that's not good. Oh, mine's
but that
about to crash
me is
anyway.
also, I don't know enough about computers, but that to me also feels like, you know, in the Y2K, it was like, what's going to happen at midnight?
I feel like a second shouldn't make that much of a difference, though.
I know, I like not knowing, actually. I'm peaceful here.
Truly. If my computer is running on that tight of a margin, that like a second difference in its timer sends it into chaos, then I don't want it.
Sometimes my computer says that it's like 2 a.m. and it's not. Like it's 4 p.m. So, I don't know.
Go home, computer, you're drunk. Hello, it's Moiya. Corinne is going to the cafe car, so I wanted to take a second to thank our patrons who support the show every single month, especially our Sun-like stars. So thank you to Lissa, Scott Reynolds, Ian O'Leary, Augustin, and Tom T. You're golden. We love you, and we love all of our patrons. Thank you so much. You too, if you're not a patron, you can support us. You can hear your name on the show and join this awesome group of people on our patron star chart, all by supporting us on Patreon for just about $1 per episode. And we offer annual memberships where you get a 13% discount if you sign up for a whole year up front. So you get to pay less money, and we know that we have a whole year's worth of support, so it's a win-win. You can find that star chart, our Patreon info, and more at our website, palebluepod.com, or go right to patreon.com/palebluepod. And if you become a patron, then you join this awesome club of people, and you get research notes for every single one of our episodes. If you can't support us financially, that's totally fine. We love you, and you're still space. There are other ways to support the show. You can rate and review it on whatever app you use, and you can share episodes of the show with your friends. Like, take the link and send it to them. That's the best way to help us grow, and we really appreciate it. Now I have a couple of podcast recommendations for you. The first is Crunchyroll presents The Anime Effect. This show explores anime and the way it shows up throughout our world. The hosts Nicholas Friedman, Lealec Murray, and Leah President discuss the latest in news, updates, and deep dives on the shows and pop culture you love. From breaking down the anime awards to analyzing Godzilla -1, all the way to discussions with musicians like Yi-Ji, stay up to date on the latest in anime with Crunchyroll presents The Anime Effect. If you're a Studio Ghibli fan, then there's a recent episode on The Boy and the Heron that you might like. So listen now wherever you get your podcasts to Crunchyroll presents The Anime Effect. Next, I want to recommend another show in the Multitude family. It's called Join the Party. You've probably heard of it. It's an actual play podcast with tangible worlds, genre-pushing storytelling, and collaborators who make each other laugh every week. The Dungeon Master is Eric Silver, and he's joined by emphatic players Amanda, Brandon, and Julia, who want to welcome everyone to the table, from longtime TTRPG players to folks who have never touched a role-playing game in their lives. You can hop into their current campaign, which is a pirate story set in a world of plant and bug folk. It's very fun, very creative, and it was a home-brewed world, so they built it themselves. Or you can marathon their completed stories. They have their Camp Pain, a Monster of the Week game set in a weird summer camp. Their second campaign was a modern superhero game, and their first was a high fantasy story for fans of the classics. Once a month, they release the After Party, where they answer your questions about the show and how they play the game, which is why they can say it's for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Pull up a chair and join the party by searching for Join the Party in your favorite podcast app, or go to jointhepartypod.com. New episodes come out every Tuesday. All right, before we get back to the show, I do have a personal project to promote. I am teaching a class with Atlas Obscura all about world building, how to build a fictional world with facts and science as your foundation. I've been professionally building worlds and consulting with companies like Disney to help them build worlds for, 5 years now. And I love getting the chance to share my process and my knowledge about world building with you. So the class starts on May 14th. It's a Tuesday. It's going to be 4 different sessions over 4 weeks, and tickets are around $80, but Atlas Obscura offers a sliding scale for fees. And over the course of those 4 weeks, I'm going to cover how to build a fictional world using science and facts, I have a whole process that I have developed over these last 5 years. I'm also going to give you all of the science and history information that will help you make a world that feels believable, yes, even for fantasy worlds. This class is for writers, for game designers, for storytellers of all types, really, and also for the generally curious. So if you would like to take my fictional world building class with Atlas Obscura, you can sign up at the link in this episode's description, or you can search like Moiya McTier Atlas Obscura world building. Again, classes start May 14th, and I would love to see you there. All right, Corinne is back with our snacks, so let's get back to this episode. I have a much less disturbing story that I found. I was scrolling through Twitter. I will call it Twitter, and I saw a post from the Event Horizon Telescope. Corinne, do you know of the Event Horizon Telescope?
I don't know if I do.
EHT. It is a telescope the size of the world.
What?
Yes, it is an interferometer, which means it's a series of telescopes working together. And the cool thing about interferometry is that it lets you get really good angular resolution, because the bigger your telescope, the better your angular resolution. And that lets us see very small things in better detail. Very small things like black holes in other galaxies or at the center of our galaxy. So the Event Horizon Telescope was the project that took the first pictures of black holes. And I think
cool.
the only pictures that exist of black holes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need a telescope as big as the Earth. And so there are telescopes on all sorts of different, on most of the continents that work together. The post that I saw, the tweet that I saw was a thread that said EHT put out these new images and these new findings revealing strong magnetic field lines around Sagittarius A star, which is the supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy. So a little bit of background, some history for the Event Horizon Telescope. In 2019, the Event Horizon Telescope published their first image, the world's first image of a black hole. But it was not in our galaxy. It was in M87, which is a kind of, I guess, relatively nearby galaxy, but it has a huge supermassive black hole in its center. M87's black hole is 6.5 billion times the mass of our sun.
Whoa.
Our supermassive black hole is only 4 million times the mass of our sun. So
wow.
M87's black hole is more than 1,000 times bigger than ours, 1,000 times more massive.
That's really hard for me to imagine.
Something that size.
Something so large.
Yeah. That's why I don't. I don't imagine
I'm gonna stop. But I recognize the numbers and I see the bigger one.
Exactly. That's how I think of it. I think people believe astronomers imagine space a lot more than we actually do. Like we're looking at numbers. You know, we're not getting trapped in trying to fathom something
letting
that
our
large.
Human brain try to picture something. I get it.
Yeah, that's the trick to dealing with it. Just don't. They released the image in 2019, but they took the data in 2017. It took them like 2 years to process the data. And the first image that came out, the one that rocked the scientific world, looked like a fuzzy fire donut. Did you?
Yes,
have you seen it? It looks just like a little orange and red ring. A blurry little ring, and people went nuts, as they should have, because it was the first time we were seeing something like this. So that ring isn't the actual black hole. That's the event horizon, like the Event Horizon Telescope. That is the event horizon around the black hole. So you see you don't see the black hole in the center, and then the bright stuff is that disk of material that is falling into the black hole. Mm-hmm. And it's moving so fast that friction heats it up and it starts giving off light. In May of 2022, the Event Horizon Telescope revealed their first pictures of Sagittarius A star, the Milky Way's black hole. And they did that just months before my book came out, with a line in it saying, haha, you haven't seen my black hole yet, meaning that my book was published with a wrong line in it because the EHT just couldn't work with my schedule.
How dare they?
I know, right? But it took them longer because even though Sagittarius A star is so much closer to us, it's a much smaller black hole, so it looked very small on the sky. And on March 27th, 2024, the Event Horizon Telescope put out a new picture of Sagittarius A star with these crisp, bright lines. Like, they look so good. The bright lines swirl in the donut, and it told us some things about the magnetic activity in the black hole. And also let us compare magnetic activity between these two black holes, which are so different from each other because one is 1,000 times more massive. But despite their size differences and despite differences in the host galaxies, I think M87 is like an elliptical galaxy. I think it's much bigger than the Milky Way. The black holes and their magnetic field lines look very similar. This indicates that the physical processes in black holes probably are the same, which probably means that physical processes in almost all the black holes are very, very similar. Mm-hmm. So that told us something about the nature of black holes. The thread that the Event Horizon Telescope posted on Twitter also included information about polarized light, which is really cool because that's how they saw these magnetic field lines in the first place. Light travels in waves. So it's doing that wave shape, but the waves can go up and down, they can go side to side, they can go in any orientation. And light waves from natural sources, like a star or something, they emit unpolarized light. So the light waves are traveling in all sorts of directions. But polarized means that it essentially has a filter that only lets a certain direction of light waves through. So that moving cloud of gas will polarize the light and only let like the vertical light waves through, and then you won't see any of the horizontal ones. Mm-hmm. So they have a video that explains this, but essentially when you have gas particles that move randomly in a space, then light passes through it in a polarized way. What's happening around these black holes is that you get plasma that aligns with the magnetic field lines because it's attracted. Like plasma is an electrically charged substance, so it gets attracted to the magnetic field lines, and it acts as a filter of light coming from the event horizon. And so you end up seeing where the magnetic field lines are by looking at that specific polarization of light, so we can map out the lines, which is really, really exciting.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and it looks pretty.
Yeah, and that's the best of all.
Mm-hmm. From that blurry fire donut to this line, like they look good.
That feels very cool, and it feels like just a huge leap forward and like seeing more.
Mm-hmm. It really is, and it's only been a few years. Like, imagine where the Event Horizon Telescope is going to be.
Yeah,
I want to see the supermassive black hole in Andromeda. That'd be pretty sick. But that would be really hard because Andromeda is about the same size as the Milky Way, maybe even a little less massive. So it might have a smaller supermassive black hole. I actually don't know. Let me look it up.
That's what we're here for. We're here for scrolling.
Scroll, scroll, scroll. Ooh. Andromeda's supermassive black hole is 100 million times the mass of their sun. So it's bigger than ours.
All right.
Okay. I think I knew that. I think I put it in the Milky Way book, but nah. You write it down, it leaves your brain.
That is that every to-do list I make, I feel more calm after I make it, and then it's because I feel like I have nothing to do.
It takes all the frenzy out of your brain and puts it on paper.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, I have one more because the eclipse was this month.
Yay!
A device called Light Sound was being distributed to help the blind and visually impaired experience the eclipse.
Oh, yes, I love this. We actually we used some at the Erie place where I was for the
amazing.
Yeah.
So you must be part of the 900 devices that I think were distributed. The New York Times article opens with a woman living in Rochester, New York, Kiki Smith, who felt very alone during the 2017 eclipse. She was diagnosed with a degenerative condition as a kid and lost the last of her vision in 2011. So when her teenage sons were like excitedly prepping for the eclipse in 2017, it felt like a really big, large community event she couldn't be a part of. But this year, the eclipse is passing through Rochester, and she organized a public gathering that prioritized accessibility for people with vision loss. Yay. And it included these devices named Light Sound that translate light intensity into musical tones, allowing blind and visually impaired people to listen as the sky grows dark and brightens up again.
Aww.
So I'll tell you a little bit about the device. Light sound was developed in 2017 by Alison Birula.
I know her. She's great.
Oh, fun. Yeah, I was going to say, maybe you knew her because she's a Harvard University astronomer. And Wanda Diaz-Merced.
Yes. She also used to be at Harvard while I was there.
Yes. And Wanda is blind, and at the time was with the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. And after learning about the needs of visually impaired astronomers, Allison outfitted the lab that she was managing with this cool printer that creates 3-dimensional representations on heat-sensitive paper of images captured by telescopes. And Dr. Diaz-Merced, I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong, has been for more than a decade conducting research using sonification in where math data is translated to sound. So kind of putting these ideas together, light sound exists, and it's the size of a paperback book, and it contains this light sensor that measures the sky's brightness, and inside there's a code on a board that assigns particular sounds to numerical ranges of lux, which is what they're calling how the brightness, or how it's measuring the brightness. And then a synthesizer board generates a flute sound for intense light, and a clarinet sound that lowers in pitch as the light fades, and a slow percussive clicking during the darkness of totality.
Yes.
And listeners use headphones or a speaker to hear the device's sonification. And I love it because the clips really, you want everyone to be a part of it, and you don't want it to be inaccessible. And I love that they put their minds together and made it for all, which is the point of space.
Yes, it's supposed to be for everyone, and I really mean that, because I know blind astronomers who have figured out ways to sonify data or make it accessible to them. So space really is something that everyone can enjoy and appreciate.
Yeah,
especially with the help of technology like this. That's such a good idea. I love that they did it.
Yes.
And they probably will continue to for future eclipses.
Yeah, it's great. I feel like every eclipse it'll pick up.
Yay.
Yeah.
I have another heartwarming post that I found, also on Twitter. And it was a post. I stopped because it was a picture of EpiPens, and I was like, "Oh, is there news in the EpiPen world?" And it was a little thread that talked about how apparently EpiPens are toxic in space. The tweet was by Camilla Elizabeth, aka the Galactic Gal, on Twitter, and the kicker here is that it was little kids who figured this out. NASA had no idea. The story goes that there are these students who were from ages 9 to 12, not grades 9 to 12. So they're young. They're elementary, middle school. And they wanted to know how cosmic rays in space. Cosmic rays are these high energy little particles that pass through a lot of stuff, and they're very common in space. We are kind of protected from most of them by things like our atmosphere and magnetic field. But they wanted to know, when you're out in space and you don't have that same protection, people talk about the danger of cosmic rays. That's one of the types of radiation. So how does that affect the molecular structure of epinephrine, which is the stuff in an EpiPen? So they applied and were accepted to conduct an experiment on this program called Cubes in Space. And I went to Cubes in Space's website, and they say that they are the only global STEM program for students age 11 to 18, providing suborbital flight opportunities on NASA missions, which is so cool.
That's so fun.
Your stuff doesn't go into space. You're still in low orbit, but they still got this NASA approved study. So they launched epinephrine samples using both balloons and high altitude rockets, and they found that, quote, cosmic radiation decomposed the epinephrine into highly toxic benzoic acids.
Whoa.
What if we had an astronaut with a peanut allergy?
Yeah, scary.
So scary. And so the students are now trying to design a capsule that can shield epinephrine from cosmic rays, but also not be toxic, because one way we could do that is with a lead capsule, but let's not.
But then we introduce lead into the mix.
Yeah. Space is already dangerous enough. We don't need to give them lead poisoning. And I just think it's really cute that these students figured it out, and now there can be an astronaut who gets an allergic reaction and has to take an EpiPen, and it'll be fine. Well, once they find the casing, it'll be fine.
That is such a fun science project for kids. Mine was always like, what stops an apple from browning? Like, very like simple ideas. I love them thinking this big.
I do wonder how it started. Like, did someone in their class have an allergic reaction while they were doing a space segment?
I wonder. But that's great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you shared this one, because I saw the like header tweet too, and I was like, that'll make a good thing on Pale Blue Pod. So I'm so glad you explained this to me.
Yay, me too. And I'm glad that our feeds are kind of overlapping.
I know. Our algorithms are lining up.
Yay. I actually have a hard time searching for these because I have worked pretty hard to not have a bunch of space content on my social media feeds. So I have to go searching for it. But this one did just pop up.
The ones that break through for me too are usually like they've hit the mass public. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. My Twitter's very spacey, but I'm using that less often these days, and I really curated my Instagram feed to not be spacey.
My Instagram feed is a nightmare right now, so it's just...
Mine's mostly just tattoos and natural hair.
I gotta get to something closer to that, because mine is like people prepping for the end of the world.
No!
But then I look at it so long, because I'm fascinated, that it's like, she likes this content, give her more.
No, you gotta reset.
Or it's like the passive income I mentioned in Galileo episode of like people being like, this is the secret to making $1 million a minute.
Wow. Yeah, I hope your algorithm clears up.
We're gonna clean that up.
You need to smudge your algorithm a little bit.
I do.
Cool. Well, this was a nice scrolling time. Maybe we listen to some music.
Oh yeah.
Put on that great new Beyonce album.
Yes.
Look out some windows.
I would love that. I might cry, but if you see me crying, you didn't.
Oh, right. Well, I will cry. So I'll take it for both of us.
Okay, listeners, wherever you are yearning out the window right now, remember you are space.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Pale Blue Pod was created by Moiya McTier and Corinne Caputo with help from the Multitude Productions team. Our theme music is by Evan Johnston, and our cover art is by Shay McMullen. Our audio editing is handled by the incomparable Misha Stanton.
Stay in touch with us and the universe by following @PaleBluePod on Twitter and Instagram, or check out our website, palebluepod.com. We're a member of Multitude, an independent podcast collective and production studio. If you like Pale Blue Pod, you will love the other shows that live on our website at multitude.productions.
If you want to support Pale Blue Pod financially, join our community over at patreon.com/palebluepod. For just about $1 per episode, you get a shout out on one of our shows and access to director's commentary for each episode. The very best way, though, to help Pale Blue Pod grow is to share it with your friends. So send this episode, this link, to one person who you think will like it, and we will appreciate you for forever.
Thanks for listening to Pale Blue Pod. You'll hear us again next week.
Bye.